Welcome back to another episode of the Shoot the 60
podcast.
podcast. I'm Flim.
And I'm Mo.
It's like, I'm Mo.
And I'm Flim.
And welcome back. Yeah.
Welcome. I hope y'all are feeling okay. I'm feeling all right. How you feeling? You feeling okay?
I'm feeling good. It's welcome to Shoot the 60 After Dark.
After dark.
But no. So, I'm ready to just jump in. Are you ready to just jump in?
Jump in. Yeah.
Because this one is a doozy.
A doozy.
This story is a doozy. Let me ask you. Have you ever seen Gossip Girl or Pretty Little Liars?
I've absolutely seen PLL, but I've never seen Gossip Girl.
Okay, so they are very similar.
Okay.
Gossip Girl, if you haven't seen Gossip Girl or Pretty Little Liars, basically it's these two shows, and there's this anonymous person sending the people in the show like texts or just blackmailing them, threatening to expose their secrets and stuff like that. Sometimes they do expose their secrets, but that's basically what the premise of the show is.
Right.
So this story is really like the real life Pretty Little Liars. I say Pretty Little Liars more than Gossip Girl because Gossip Girl has like a very like comedic tone and energy about the show.
Oh yeah, nothing that's funny in Pretty Little Liars. It'd be tragic, like yeah. And to add to the context, yo, please, if you get a chance, check that show out because like this isn't just like some like random anonymous shit like. Hey, your shoes untied. They be saying some like awful shit. Like
I know you're sleeping with your teacher.
Yeah, like I left a box of donuts for you on the desk, you fat pig. Like I'm like, yo, like it be some evil shit, but anyway.
Dude. But that's exactly what this story is similar to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
So we are going to travel to the small town of Circleville, Ohio, and we're going in the past, 1977 to be exact.
Okay. So yeah, my mama was born. All right.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Miss Dawn.
Yeah, she up there, but it's like, it's like not my life. All right, we're good.
Okay, so Circleville, Ohio is a 3-hour drive from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
It's 30 miles from Columbus, Ohio, and just put that in your back pocket for right now.
Okay.
It has a population as of 2020. I couldn't find the population in 1977. But as of 2020, it has a population of around 14,000 people, which is really small. To compare that to Baltimore as of 2020, which has almost 600,000 people. Right. And this is just Baltimore City. And after I read the numbers, I was like, okay, like that is a small town. Because even in Baltimore, like I be feeling like you're one person removed from knowing everybody.
Exactly. So I can only imagine with 14,000. Like, because you gotta think, like, Poly and Western together at the time we was going was probably already like over 1,000 kids, maybe 2,000. So just imagine like a couple of those, like, exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah. So just to give y'all context, if you live in Baltimore, but yeah, Circleville was a peaceful town. It was best known for its annual pumpkin show. They actually still have the annual pumpkin show, but it was real peaceful. It was real chill up until about 1977. So in 1977, multiple residents started to receive anonymous letters, and these letters detailed personal and private information about their lives. Letters were sent to everybody, like it was no cut cards. It was sent to the school board members, city officials, business owners, regular Joe Schmo that go to the bar, like everybody was getting them. And the letters accused the recipients of a variety of things like infidelity, theft, corruption, etc.
And this is with like no type of basis, or like it was like some truth to the shit, or like we'll get there.
We're gonna get there.
All right, let me know.
We're gonna get there.
My bad. All right.
And the letters also contained threats of violence, threats to expose people's secrets, and to vandalize their property. But by the time all of this like wrapped up, it ended up being thousands of letters sent from this anonymous person. So one of the first people to receive a letter, or actually, it was a lot of different accounts from different people. Some people say he was the first. Some people said somebody else was the first. I'm going to say he was the first just because it makes sense how the story goes chronologically. It makes sense to me. But the first person to receive it was a man named Gordon Massey. So Gordon Massey was the West Falls School superintendent. And he received the first letter on March 2nd, 1977. I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Dear sir, according to my girlfriend, you have asked her to go out many times and have asked the other female bus drivers too. Due to your position and their jobs with you, you should not do this. This must stop at once for the good of the school and families. If this doesn't stop, I'll be forced to write to the school board, and I would hate to do that. To prey on another man's girl is untouchable, especially when they are trying to make a living. There's also talk of you dating a married woman and you taking advantage of them. I suggest you find yourself a pimple-faced whore and start out with her and leave my girls alone.
Whoa.
So that was the first letter that somebody got. And Gordon Massey was like, okay, like,
yeah,
what's going on? So before he can even do anything, though, 2 days later, a letter is sent to the school board, basically like
saying everything,
like, oh, he's dealing with the bus drivers, and when we think about like people in like positions of power, like trying to flirt with people that work for them, it's like this thin line of like flirting and like sexual harassment.
Absolutely, because of the power dynamic.
Yeah, because of the power. Yeah. But the person in the letter said that he dated several of the bus driver women, and like there were other women who also wanted to date him if they didn't date him. So it was a lot of like contradictions in the second letter. But the anger of the anonymous letter writer, it started at Gordon Massey, and then it moved to a woman named Mary Gillespie. Now, if you Google or look up the Circleville Letters, Mary Gillespie is like the person who was targeted the most out of everybody.
Damn.
Yeah. So let's talk about Mary.
Yeah.
So Mary was married to Ron Gillespie. He was her high school sweetheart. They had one daughter named Tracy and one son named Eric. So she was a school bus driver for the West Falls School District. And one day, she chilling. She was like, oh, the mail here. Let me go see what's up with the mail. So she see that she had a letter postmarked from Columbus, Ohio with no return address. And this letter stated that the writer has been observing her house, and knew she had children, and accused her of having an affair with who else? Gordon Massey.
Yo. So, and hold up. Mm-hmm. Before you continue further, just to keep myself together and I guess the audience. You said that it didn't have a like sender, like it didn't have where it came from, basically.
Exactly. So if y'all know what postmark is, postmarks is the imprints on letters that show you like the state and the date, I believe, that letters or whatever is sent from or whatever. So it had the postmark, which was Columbus, Ohio. If y'all remember, I said that's 30 miles away.
That's why I brought that up.
Yes, 30 miles away.
So it's 30 miles away. You've been talking about observing her.
But it had no return address, like you said.
Right.
So it just had the postmark. So I actually have the letter. The letter says, Mrs. Gillespie, stay away from Massey. Don't lie when questioned about meeting him. I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious. Everyone concerned has been notified and everything will be overseen. So when she got that, she was like, all right.
Yeah.
She just kept it to herself for real. She ain't tell nobody. So 8 days later, she received a similar letter. This one said, lady, this is your last chance to report him. I know you are a pig and will prove it and shame you out of Ohio. A pig sneaks around and meets other women's husbands behind their back, causes families and homes and marriages to suffer. So she, like I said, she kept these letters to herself.
Yeah.
She didn't tell her husband, Ron, until he got one. Now, I don't have Ron's first letter, but a excerpt from the letter said you should catch them together and kill them both. So this person was like fucking unhinged. Like they were just wilding.
Yeah.
And when I was first like doing the research, I was like, why do you give a fuck?
Yeah. Like what the what's your angle? Like,
yeah,
what?
Like, how are you involved? But, we're going to get there. So Ron is like, what's tea? Like, what's going on? And Mary, she denies the affair. She say it's all lies. So right. Ron is just like, okay, whatever. 2 weeks go by. Ron receives another letter saying, Gillespie, you have had 2 weeks and done nothing. Admit the truth and inform the school board. If not, I will broadcast it on CBs, like a CB radio.
Yeah,
posters, signs, and billboards until the truth comes out. Good hunting in your red and white truck on your way to work. Remember she hung in his office constantly until she broke up his marriage and home. I have followed him for weeks since last summer and have seen her meet him several times. He can't have affairs with school employees and keep his job. He knows what I want. When he quits, I'll go away. That's just it was longer than that, but that's just
that's a little excerpt.
That's a little excerpt.
Yo.
So after this, it's like, what do you want him to do? He gonna tell the school board, and then let me backtrack. So Mary is saying that this is a lie.
Yeah.
So it's nothing for Ron to report if she telling him it's a lie. So nobody did nothing. Nobody talked to the school board or nothing. So after this, signs started to appear around Circleville, like signs about Mary, signs about Ron, about Gordon Massey. Like, I'm not gonna say what they said, but it was just like,
it was just some signs.
Yeah. Like, it was so bad that Ron would leave the house 1 to 2 hours before taking his kids to school to remove the signs. And if he didn't have time to remove them, he would basically take alternate routes so his kids wouldn't see him on their way to school. So yeah, it was becoming like really hectic. Yeah. Like, this person was like definitely like harassing him for real.
Damn.
So the Gillespies, they ended up bringing their letters to the sheriff's office to stop the writer. And it was 2 different accounts at this point. Like, the 2 accounts I saw, it said that the police were trying to stop it.
Yeah.
And then another one said the police really wasn't taking it seriously. Well, specifically the sheriff. Like, he was like, I don't have time for a motherfucker writing letters. Like, ain't nobody hurt you. And they be like that now for real. So I don't really, I don't doubt it. But they had a few theories on who it could be. So Mary had a co-worker. His name was David Longberry. And David had asked her out on a date one day. And Mary was like, no, nigga, I'm married.
Yeah.
And she said ever since then, he acted like weird towards her. So she thought it could be him.
Mm-hmm.
But Ron thought it was Gordon Massey himself. But Gordon Massey was like, bruh, I am also being targeted.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? So eventually, Ron let that go. But Mary, Ron, Karen, who was Ron's sister, and Paul, who was Karen's husband, because at this point, they kept it super close to home.
Yeah.
They decided that Paul, like, because they came to a decision. It was like, all right, like, maybe it is David. And if it is him, like, we're going to write him letters, basically telling him, like, we know that it's you. Don't keep sending us letters and shit.
Yeah.
So Paul ended up writing a letter to David Longberry, saying, don't send no more letters, whatever.
Okay, now, my question is with that, did they write it in a way that they know that it was from them? Or not? It was on some anonymous shit to him. Like, hey, I heard that you was putting letters out there, bitch. Stop. Anonymous. Like,
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
But from all the sources I read, it seemed like more of it wasn't anonymous. Like, they wanted him to know. They wanted him to know that
hey, we know it's you, bro. Stop.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly. Right. So the letters actually stopped for a while.
Okay.
Like, they was like, oh, like, we good, like, we chilling. Up until August 1977. So August 1977, Ron received a phone call. He was at home. So during this time, Mary was actually in Florida with Karen and some other homegirls. So Ron, he had the kids. He was at home chilling. So whoever called, allegedly this was the writer. Because the way Ron answered the phone, basically, like, and this is, I'm not going to spoil it. But basically, it confirmed Ron's suspicions on who the identity of the writer was. And he got his gun. And he told his kids, he was like, I'm about to go confront the letter writer. I'll be back. But unfortunately, Ron never comes back. So not long after Ron leaves, he's found dead. He got into a car accident. His pickup truck was crashed into a tree and he was ejected from the vehicle. He was 35 at the time. So yeah. After sweeping the scene, investigators found that his gun had been fired once before his death. Yeah.
Which is weird though, because like
they don't know.
He shot?
He wasn't shot.
That's what I'm like.
Well, they said he wasn't shot.
Or he could have shot somebody. We don't know.
All
right.
So after this, the sheriff, his name was Dwight Radcliffe. Mm-hmm. He ends up giving a lie detector test to a suspect, and this suspect, his name has never been released, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But after that, the suspect, he what is it called? He passed the lie detector test.
Okay.
And after that, the sheriff was like, okay, well, his death was an accident. He ruled it an accident. But several Circleville residents soon received anonymous letters accusing the sheriff of a cover-up. So the official police report says that he died as a result of the drunk driving accident. But Ron's family and friends said he rarely drank alcohol.
That's why I was like, drunk driving.
They said he never drank alcohol. The sheriff said that his blood alcohol concentration level was a 0.16, which is twice the legal limit. The legal limit for being like legally impaired is 0.08. Not legally, but illegally impaired is 0.08. So a lot of people thought like he was murdered, including Paul, his brother-in-law. And Paul even said the sheriff initially agreed with him that it was foul play, but then he changed his mind. He was like, nah, it's an accident. Right.
Come on now.
And here's something for you. After Ron's death, Mary and Gordon Massey went public with their relationship. But they claimed that it didn't start until after he died. But let's be for real. Let's be so for real. That whole time y'all wasn't fucking with each other. And now y'all fucking with each other after he died.
Niggas then already got aired out as a cheater and unfaithful and all this other shit. And yeah, no, it's just not. It's something going on. It's too fishy for me. Like I'm not trusting it. I don't like that. Rest in peace to my man.
Yeah. But, so now let's fast forward to February 7th, 1983. So from
6-year jump?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, just to be very clear, at this point, everybody is receiving letters, not just Mary.
So it's been going on,
and it's been going on because the whole time it never stopped.
Wow.
Like it stopped for those couple weeks with Ron, but after that it just kept going. Like it never stopped. So everybody been getting them for years, not just Mary, but everybody. But like I said, Mary was kind of like the main one that was getting harassed.
Did they say like the frequency of them or not? It depend. Like how often were they getting the letters?
Who,
like
Mary?
Or anybody else? Yeah.
No, they didn't say the frequency of them. They just said everybody was consistently getting them right.
Damn.
So February 7th, 1983. So Mary, she's still a bus driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was driving her empty school bus to pick up the kids, taking them to school. So on her route, she see a handmade sign on the fence. And it talked about her daughter. Said something crazy about her daughter. So, mother's instinct, she like, nah, like, fuck is this?
Yeah, like, whoa.
So she pulled the bus over and she tried to pull the sign down. But when she tried to pull the sign down, she sees a box behind it. And the box is like wrapped in twine. If you don't know what like twine is, it's going to pop up on the video. But twine is like, it's like that wooded string.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's like that
I know a thing or two about some twine now.
Well, if you don't know, it's like the wooded string. So she take the box with the twine and she put it on the school bus and she take the kids to school and then she go back home.
Yeah.
So when she get home, she opened the box and it's a gun in the box. So the twine was wrapped around the trigger of the gun. So when she opened the box, the gun was supposed to go off directly in her face. But it basically was a booby trap.
Yeah, like that's how
it was a booby trap. But it just, I don't know if they did it wrong or whatever. I guess they did it wrong, but.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
So when she realized it was a gun and she realized like it was a trap for real, she was like, oh, let me take it to the sheriff's department.
Like the fuck.
So she took it to the sheriff's department and they like, all right, like they started investigation. So the first step, they like, all right, whose gun is this?
Yeah.
So they look at the gun, they trace it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. They trace it. And guess who it ends up getting traced to?
Don't tell me it was my man's Massey, yo.
No. It wasn't Massey. It was a coworker of Paul.
Oh.
Now they go talk to this coworker. They like, this your gun?
Right.
Coworker like, yeah, it's my gun, but I sold it to Paul. And he had the receipts. He's like, I sold it to Paul a minute ago. So they go talk to Paul. So they like, Paul, like, they said, nigga saying you bought the gun from him. So Paul like, well, it is my gun, but it got stolen a minute ago. But I didn't report it, but it did get stolen.
Paul.
So they're like, okay. So then they talk to Paul's wife, Karen. Well, I'm sorry, his wife, soon to be ex-wife, because they was going through a divorce.
Ooh.
they like, yeah, Karen, like, what's up? You got anything to tell us? Karen like, yeah, Paul is a Circleville letter writer. And they like, what? And she like, yeah, like I saw letters hitting throughout the house. And they like, okay, do you have them? And she like, no, I threw them away. So it's a lot going on.
Yeah, like.
So, but at this point now, somebody is accusing Paul of being a letter writer. So they like, okay, you need to perform a handwriting sample for us. Now, the way that they did this, a lot of people have issues with. I also have an issue with it because the way that they should have did it, they should have did it as like, okay, they should have took whatever was on the letter, like the original Circleville letter, and if it say, hey, Deshaun, I'm gonna beat you up or whatever, right? They should have told Paul to write it, but they shouldn't let him see it. They gave him one of the original letters, and they said, copy this exactly how it looks. Corruption.
Yeah,
corruption.
That's definitely corruption, bro. Like what the
corruption?
Like...
Exactly. A lot of people like handwriting analysts and stuff, they say like that shouldn't have happened. That don't even make sense. Because if you tell somebody to copy it, of course they're gonna try to emulate what they see.
Right.
Exactly.
Like it's just weird.
So then they get him to take a lie detector test, which he fails. But as we know, lie detector tests are inconclusive because they're not even admissible in court.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I don't be in court.
Oh.
I'm clean.
They not admissible in court for real.
All right.
Like you can't use it in court because if you can use it in court, they would use it all the time.
Touché.
I think they more so use it to like help steer the investigation for real.
So when you say use it in, we don't got that.
No, I can say it like they can't say like he failed the lie detector test if they go to trial. Like they can't use that in court. At all. No,
I can't use anything related to a lie detector test.
No, it's not admissible.
Really?
It's really for like the detectives or whoever is investigating to like kind of be like, okay, is this person lying or not type shit.
Right.
But you can't go to trial and be like, he failed the lie detector test, X, Y, and Z. You can't use it.
Can't use it. Oh,
yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, so he failed the lie detector test, and then his home and his car and his garage is searched. They don't find anything, but he ends up getting charged with the attempted murder of Mary, since it was his gun in the booby trap.
Wow.
Yep. So now we're going to fast forward to October 24th, 1983. Paul goes to trial. So just to be super clear, right? He was on trial about the booby trap.
Right.
Not about the letters.
Okay.
But basically his whole trial like focused on the letters or whatever. So
yeah, that's weird.
So Mary, and I'll tell you how they like threw it in there. So Mary, she was the first witness. She testified about finding a booby trap, and then the prosecutor asked about the letters.
Yeah.
So Paul's lawyers, the defense, they was like, okay, this case is about the booby trap. The letters are irrelevant.
Right.
The prosecution argued that the handwriting that was on the booby trap was similar to the letters, so it was relevant. So the judge ended up allowing 39 of the letters in evidence. So on top of that, the prosecution brings in a handwriting analyst who compares the writing to the booby trap to the letters that were sent to Murray and to the samples of Paul's handwriting.
Yeah. And
this handwriting analyst says that these letters were written by Paul, like the Circleville letters was written by Paul. The defense also had a handwriting analyst who agreed with the prosecution's analyst. Yes. He supposed to say like, no, that's not Paul's.
Even if it is Paul's, he's be like, nah, I'm not seeing it.
And he agreed like, nah, they Paul's.
Yeah, this sounded sus.
This whole thing sounded
crazy.
Another thing to take note of: Paul's fingerprints were not found on the booby trap. It was only really it was a couple connections that was kind of circumstantial. So the gun was his, right? That was his gun. The box that it was in was a industrial sized chalk box, which is something that could be easily found at the warehouse where Paul worked. So that was something they argued. And his job was in Columbus, that's where all the letters were postmarked from, like all of them.
Which is 30 miles away.
Exactly. So also, but the day the booby trap was found, he didn't go to work. But he had an alibi. His house was getting some work done. And he had multiple people testify to this.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this was not enough to save Paul. Paul was sentenced to 7 to 25 years in prison.
Damn, what a fucking weird ass margin. 7 to 25?
Yeah.
Like
7 to 25 years.
Damn.
So he goes to jail. And now he go to jail. Everybody like, yo, the Circleville letter writer, he gone. Like, we ain't got to worry about him. We not getting no more letters, yo. And then niggas start getting letters. Kept getting letters. Still was getting letters even after he's in jail.
Yeah.
So Sheriff Radcliffe, he accused Paul of sending the letters from jail.
Yeah.
And the warden placed him in solitary confinement. He censored his mail.
Yo.
Yeah. He placed him in solitary confinement. He censored his mail. And he got strip searched before and after he saw visitors. And after doing all of this, the letter still was going. That's what I'm saying.
You know how mad I would be like if niggas is like, yo, they still getting letters out there. We about to crack down on this motherfucker in here. Like,
and you just sitting there like, yo, y'all niggas dumb as shit.
Like, bro, I'm already behind bars. Like,
Exactly. So the letters were still coming. And at that point, the warden was like, it's no way. Like, we cracking down so hard. It's no way.
Like, unless we have somebody sit with him 24/7 and watch him, like, come on.
There's no way. And also, just to keep something in mind, where Paul was like in prison, he was in prison in Lima, Ohio, which was 90 miles away from Columbus.
Yeah, come on now.
So it's just no way. And it was so bad to the point like people didn't want to believe it wasn't him. Was that in after his 7 years, he was up for parole.
Right.
And they denied him just because they thought he was still sending the letters, bro. And he like what the fuck?
Yo, that's evil as shit. But hold up. Because this is relevant. What's the race of these people we talking about? Right
what?
Now? All right. Well, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Oh, all right. He be all right. Go ahead,
Joe. But Mary. Oh, not Mary. Dyslexic. In May 1994.
You are good, yo.
In May of 1994, he was released from parole.
Okay.
So he did 10 years.
Yo, people, I was just about to say, this shit started in 77, yo. I don't know if niggas heard the year you just said, yo.
94.
This shit started in 77.
This shit's still going on, bro. What's that? That's a little bit less, under 20 years.
It is. That's like 17, 18 years. Because I think my mom graduated high school in like 95.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know. Is that accurate? That's accurate. That's 18 years, yeah.
I don't want to do the math.
No, it is. Because like 77 to 97 is 20. So if you just take off the 2, then, Continue.
All right. So as far as when the last letter was sent, once again, because this case is like old, there are like
statute of limitations type
conflicting accounts of when the last letter was sent.
Really?
It's conflicting accounts.
Because they stopped?
They did end up stopping. The person ended up stopping.
And this was after the 7 years. After the 7 years that bro did. After he did 10 years?
After he did 10 years.
Okay.
But let me get to it. So one account said that the last letter was sent to a show called Unsolved Mysteries. So this show actually ended up covering the Circleville Letters for one of its episodes. And they received a letter that said, "Forget Circleville, Ohio. Do nothing to hurt Sheriff Radcliffe. If you come to Ohio, you L. Sickles will pay." From the Circleville writer. But the show was like, okay, and they still filmed it. Yeah, you can actually find it on YouTube. But yeah. But the other account says that the last letter was sent to a lady named Marie Mayhew. So they said it was sent in 94, and she was a journalist who had been investigating the case.
Yeah.
And this letter said, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but it said, "Marie, I'm back. I've been watching you. I know everything about you. I'm warning you to stop writing about me. If you don't, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt your family. You're a terrible person, Marie. You're a liar and a hypocrite. I'm going to make you pay for what you've done." Damn. And yeah, that was either one of those was the last time that a letter was sent. Yeah. So we're not done yet. So when Paul gets out of jail, he ends up writing a request to the FBI, basically asking them to review his old case and the letter writing. Now, in this request, he includes his own personal accounts and court documents where he believes there was either cover-ups or lack of solid evidence. Paul also confirms that Mary and Gordon Massey were having an affair the entire time.
Oh, yo, whoa.
And this is an excerpt from his blog. His blog is still online. You can go, I'll put it in the link if y'all want to go check it out.
Yeah, we do.
It's like 160 pages, but... It's like 160 pages because it's like court documents in it too.
Oh, okay.
But there is an excerpt when it's just him kind of talking. And this is what he said. "The letters claim that Gordon Massey, the Westfall School superintendent, and Mary Gillespie, a Westfall School bus driver, were having an affair, and for her to inform the Westfall School board so he be fired. This affair was confirmed as true and can still be to this day. Gordon and Mary would go to his hometown in Gallipolis, Ohio, and had a stopping point one halfway there to have a drink at a bar, which was Gordon's friend's bar. Mary also met Gordon at different places, even West Virginia. Once she met him outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, and in fact ran out of gasoline in her car, and her husband, Ron Gillespie, had to go get her. And there's plenty of more incidents that can be confirmed. On the night of Ron's murder, Mary and my wife were on their way to Florida with 2 other women, and these women will swear in a court of law that they were told Gordon Massey would be there. They informed my lawyer of this. This is what Paul said. He also said the sheriff also covered everything up. Because he was the Buckeye Sheriff's Association president and was already being accused of mismanaging funds, he wanted to be the National Sheriff's Association president and had to cover up the letters. Because Sheriff Radcliffe already had a lot of crime and unsolved cases in his county. Within this, he also claimed the prosecutor was corrupt as well, but I'm not going to get into that.
Oh.
And something that he brought up was that within the sheriff's investigation around Ron's death, his car, Ron's pickup truck, right after, they cleaned up the scene, he immediately got it sent to the junkyard. So nobody else looked at it after that night.
Wow.
Yeah. And it also came out that the coroner who said that Ron was drunk was also corrupt as well. Like, it was some stuff about him. I'm not going to say it because of the content, but if y'all want to look it up, you can go look it up. It's on the blog. But in the end, Paul accuses the sheriff, his ex-wife, and Mary for setting him up.
Wow.
So just real quick, I definitely want to touch on Karen. A couple things that I feel like y'all should know.
And remind us who Karen is again.
Karen is his wife. His ex-wife, I'm sorry. His ex-wife. It's Paul's ex-wife.
Right, okay. Got you.
The one who said that she found some of the letters in the house.
And she was the one that was also apparently on that trip.
Yeah, she was. She was on the whole trip.
The girls' trip and shit, right?
She was on the whole trip with Mary. So in October of 1982 is when Paul filed for divorce. Mind you, this is 2 years before he goes to jail in 84. So the motivation behind Karen's framing would be basically she would get all the financial assets and full custody of all their children. They had 3 children, 2 girls, 1 boy. Now, I was able to read like some of the divorce documents.
Yeah.
So it said that Karen said that Paul was mentally and physically abusive in the divorce documents. And there is photo evidence of his physical abuse. And Paul even admits to it because he ended up going to like, not counseling, but like some type of like
therapy.
Some type of thing to like work on his anger or whatever. Okay. Now, Paul alleged that Karen had a history of walking out with her family. She had a lot of mental health issues. She would keep a gun just laying around the kids, and she cheated on him all the time. So Paul ended up retaining full custody of the 2 girls. Yeah. And Karen got custody of the son. Now, what Karen said, what else she said to detectives was that she also found a letter in a toilet, and her son had to get it out with a coat hanger. And basically, when she said something to Paul, Paul was like, oh, like, that's a letter that somebody sent to me. Yeah. But, like, I just laughed at it and threw it in the toilet. But it's like, why would you throw it in the toilet? Why wouldn't you just throw it in the trash?
So, hold up. So, I'm assuming that bitch was so deformed that, like, it was no way we could see.
Yeah, she couldn't make out what it was. Okay. But she said it was a letter. That's what she said.
Yeah, why would you flush the letter, though?
Exactly. She also said that Paul idolized Ron and Mary's relationship. So that's why he would want to kill Mary. Because that's what Karen said. Yeah. This is what Karen said. And other people said that Karen basically was on some shit like the kids had to choose. It was like either him or me type shit. And the daughters chose the dad, and like the son, I don't know if he had some weird obligation to his mom, but he ended up, choosing her. Yeah. Now, something that is interesting, the son, his name was Mark. Okay. He never visited Paul while he was in prison.
But I'm assuming the daughters did.
Yes. Something that Paul told people was maybe Mark had helped in his framing. So when his gun first went missing, this is way before, the booby trap thing happened. Yeah. he told people around him that he thought Mark had stolen it. And so when they got found in a booby trap and it came back to him, he thought
it was Mark.
It could be my son could have helped set me up. Now, at age 39, Mark unalived himself. And Karen said that he struggled with depression his whole life. Yeah. But did he struggle with depression? Or was it the guilt because he framed his father for a crime that he know he didn't commit?
I mean, so what would his motive be? Just revenge because he was abusive?
No, I think it would just be being loyal to my mom. Like, you gotta think about it. If you a kid or even if you like a teenager, and if it's your mother like, I need you to go do this for me. You're not ready to go against it, especially as an old, like, I believe he was the oldest. I'm like 80% sure he was the oldest. And especially as an older child, you might witness shit that your siblings ain't see or they don't remember. Like, okay. So he like, y'all see him this way, but I already know.
Yeah, that sounds like some shit. Yeah.
So
you never know.
We don't know. And this is something that wasn't included in the trial, but it's something to think about. The day of the booby trap, where Murray found the booby trap, another bus driver says 20 minutes before Murray found the booby trap, she drove that same route. And she saw a man standing in the spot that the sign was in, standing next to a yellow El Camino. But as soon as she got closer to it, the man, like, he tried to turn around to, like, act like he had to pee. And she couldn't see his face. She just said he was a big man with sandy colored hair, which was different from Paul, who had dark brown hair. And apparently this was a description that fit Karen's new boyfriend. And the El Camino was a car. The yellow El Camino was a car that fit her boyfriend's brother's car. But this information was never said in the trial.
That's what I was about to say. Like, a little too fucking late. Like, it's like...
No, she said this during the, like...
Oh, during the
She
trial?
said this during that time.
Oh.
They just never said it in the trial.
Wow.
They just never said it. They never mentioned it. I'm serious. And so there was a show called 48 Hours on CBS. They like investigate like old true crime cases or whatever. And in 2022, which was last year, they decided to take a second look at the Circleville Letters. So an FBI analyst, her theory was maybe the person who wrote the letters was a woman. Because I don't know if y'all remember like the first letter I read, but he was like, prey on another man's girl or something like that. And then like a lot of the letters had like my girl, my girlfriend. And the FBI analyst, her perspective was like, this person is trying to solidify gender or like solidify like, oh, this person, they're writing this because of their girlfriend. Maybe they pushing it so hard because they want you to think it's a man and not a woman.
It's a lady, yeah.
They also reached out to a forensic document expert, and this person, she reviews letters that Paul sent to a friend while he was in prison. Yeah. And she reviewed the Circleville letters. So she said it was so many similarities between these two things that she believed the same person wrote them both. So she believed that Paul was the Circleville letter writer. Mind you, they didn't tell her anything about the case. She was like, I don't want to know anything about the case. I just want to look at the evidence because I don't want to be swayed. And then afterwards, she was like, yeah, like this is the same person. This is the same person. But I want y'all to keep something in mind because she swore up and down she was right. I want y'all to keep something in mind though. I forgot what year it was. I'm sorry. But at one point in like after Hitler's death, right? There was a man.
I'm sorry. That was so left. I just wasn't expecting it for your timestamp.
Sorry, it's gonna make sense. So after Hitler's death, right? Somebody claimed to have these diaries of Hitler's, right? Okay. And they said it was him because the handwriting was like super similar. But after like looking at it, analysts realized it wasn't him because the content of it and the ink that was used in the Hitler diaries was like, it wasn't even invented until after Hitler's death or something like that. So handwriting analysis are not 100% accurate. It's almost like lie detector tests. Some people with it and some people like, it's not concrete. Like it's very circumstantial or whatever. Yeah. So, but this person thought that Paul did it. And it was also said that they dusted fingerprints on some of the letters. And Paul's fingerprints were on 12 of them. But these are thousands of letters.
So it sounds like Paul had involvement, but he wasn't the sole guy to me. I don't know. Well, I'm not here to hypothesize, but you go ahead.
But as of 2023, the identity of the Circleville letter writer is unknown.
Unknown. So is Paul still alive?
Paul died in 2012.
No, yeah. Paul.
And he actually said in an interview, he was like, "I'ma die, and people gonna still think I'm the letter writer."
Paul, I wanted him to be alive to see his damn. You feel me? What is it called? It starts with an A, yo. Absolve, but like
absolvement.
Absolve. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the fuck I wanted him to see while he was alive, yo. Because I ain't gonna lie. Now, if we get into the hypothesizing type shit, I feel like Paul was involved. He definitely wasn't the sole like writer. And the yellow Camino, big sandy hair guy, that shit is still sus to me. Like that is a complete different description from Paul. Yet he was the one that was at the same like, and then he could have just been completely unrelated from the box. Granted, but like,
so this is my theory. I think that the person who started writing Gordon Massey and then started writing Mary and Ron, I think that this person either wanted to fuck with Gordon Massey or wanted to fuck with Murray. And they were like, oh my God, like it's an affair. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's why they tried to blow up their life. I really think that it was somebody that wanted to fuck with Gordon Massey because the letters to him weren't really mean. Like the two letters that I saw, they weren't mean. It's like they wanted him to stop having his affairs and like being flirty. More
encouragement, shit. Like yo, just get right.
But
bro.
The shit about Mary is like fucking mean and hateful. So to me, it feels like somebody wanted to fuck with Gordon Massey. You go ahead. I was gonna say, just to throw this out there, he did have a wife and a son, and he did
Massey.
All right. They ended up getting divorced in. Around that time.
Are any of these people like currently still alive?
Gordon Massey died in 96.
No, Gordon.
Sheriff Radcliffe died in 2020.
Sheriff Radcliffe.
I couldn't find anything about Mary Gillespie, so she could still be alive.
Well, damn. Well, we just gonna assume Mary's still alive and with us and well. But I'm not gonna lie. So this just got me thinking, and I guess this is like my last thought on it or my last like hypothesis, but like, do you feel like it's possible? Because sometimes from like shit that we see in the media and even real life, it's almost like crime inspire other crime. So I don't know if you're familiar, like, or how familiar you are with like the Zodiac killer shit, but it's kind of like that where like niggas was sending in letters like, or even if we go back to like the DB Cooper shit, how I was telling you people was like sending in letters, either pretending directly to be DB, or like somebody that know him. Like, I'm just saying, maybe what if it's some shit like this, but maybe not to that same extent. Like, I think I agree with you. I don't think that Paul was the person that was writing to Gordon and was starting the shit. But what if somebody along the line like caught wind of that shit, or they got a letter and was like, I kind of like this idea, and then they started like. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all anonymous, you just never know. I think it was a multitude of people, though, if you ask me.
I agree. I think niggas hopped on it and was like, oh, this what we doing?
Right.
I'm ready to threaten it out all y'all.
For real.
I feel like that's what happened. Now, do you think, before we wrap up, do you think Ron was killed, or do you think his death was an accident?
I think Ron was killed, bro. The alcohol shit don't make sense. The timing was just too fucking weird. Like, what's the odds that he's like, yo, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And then, like, he never come fucking back?
Exactly.
This nigga about to go get justice, and he never comes back?
And another thing, when the FBI lady said that she think it could be a woman. Yeah. Based off of that call, if the person who called is the writer, I don't think it was a woman by the way he reacted. Like, if somebody call you and it's a woman, she like, yeah, I'm the writer, nigga. You're gonna be like, you're not about to go get your gun. You're just not about to do that as a dude. You're not. But if it's a man and nigga like, yeah,
and if it's a man you already know,
you gonna be like, oh, for real?
Because you already know I can't take him. I need to go get my gun. You're not gonna go get that gun unless you really know, like, yeah, I need that.
So I think it was a man. I think it was a man.
I don't like shit like this. I don't like the cliffhanging. What do you think? Like, it's blowing my mind because I don't know what to believe, bro. I don't know what to believe, yo. But I really want to feel like I said,
we will never know.
We'll never know. I feel like Paul was involved. But I feel like I could be reaching, but I feel like he was trying to make shit right at the end. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know. Yo, he did his time. He did some of it. You feel me? I don't know. Yo, I ain't mad at Paul. I'm gonna just say that I ain't mad at Paul, bro.
We don't know.
I ain't mad, but we don't know though. So
y'all let us know what y'all think in the comments and all of that.
Please.
I got my beer. Like, we really in it. Like, you feel
now
me?
a couple episodes ago, Mo said she was never gonna drink another beer. And here
it's
we
different.
are.
This is the end of the episode.
It's different. All right. Okay. We celebrating. All right. Oh yeah. And also disclaimer. I want to go back like 2-3 episodes ago. So you remember how I said that which did I say Lemonade was a like no skip album for me? Remember we was talking about Beyonce?
Oh yeah, he did.
It wasn't Lemonade. It was Beyonce. I mixed the album.
Yeah, Lemonade is a skip album.
It is. It is.
It is.
And I felt bad because afterwards I was like listening and I was like, damn, like I do like Lemonade, but the self-titled album is the one that's a no skip. Lemonade, you can make some skips, but yeah.
Unpopular opinion, I need more rock Beyonce.
Okay.
I don't know if that's unpopular or not.
Like what? Like what's rock Beyonce?
Don't hurt yourself. Who the fuck do you think I am?
Yeah.
That's on my.
I wouldn't be against that.
That's on my rocks. I have a playlist called Rockstar. It's on that playlist.
Spell it.
Rock, ROCK, and then star, STAHR.
Yeah. So on that note, I just wanted to know how crazy that was because it sounded crazy, but that spelling is crazy.
Yeah. But thank y'all for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. And we will see y'all next time on another episode of the Shoot to 60. Bye.
That's what it is. Bye. That's funny as shit. Yo, that story was crazy, bro.